All right, let's get to baseball. And we're doing our top 10 list here. Top 10 players in each position in the MLB. So we're doing last week, we started with the catcher all the way around position players. Right before opening day, that would be the last one. Managers. Who are the top 10 managers in MLB? But on the field, let's go to the top 10 players in MLB here. Not as loaded a position in general. So, but I think, and that actually surprised me compared to years ago where every good big guy would play. You got guys now playing in different positions, shortstop, catcher, guys not all just moving to first base from the minors if they can hit. So not as good, but a good left list here. Nathan Lowe from the Rangers. Rangers are looking to bounce back. I'm not really counting the Rangers out. Had a little bit of a hangover last year. They had a lot of injuries last year. All right, we're back. Sorry about that. Management appreciates your cooperation. All right, so top 10 first baseman. Get it back on the screen there. Okay, so he's going to need Bobby Witt's going to need a right hand. This guy's getting better and better. Definitely, I have him at 9. 8, Christian Walker of the Houston Astros now, formerly of the Arizona Diamondbacks. I don't know if this was wise not to keep him, but he's getting up there in age. This is part of why I don't have him higher. The production has been there for the last couple of years. 30 home runs, 100 RBIs. Definitely for a lineup with Altuve, etc. No Kyle Tucker in the Astros lineup, so they're going to need his production. I definitely think they're getting a top 10 guy. He's definitely going to produce 20 plus home runs, 80 some RBIs. I absolutely like Walker. He's a good hitter. The age worries me a little bit. He's going to be like 35 pretty soon, so guys kind of fall off a little bit. But we'll see. I think I have him there. Yandy Diaz, not quite as good last year as he was the year before. I think Diaz definitely a good solid hitter. I don't have him higher. I think at first, for me, I like to see a little bit more power. It's not really what he is. He's going to give you some power. His stats were down all across the board, but definitely you look at his career, definitely a good hitter, high 200 hitter, 300 hitter. I think that's going to continue. I don't like the fact with him also that the Rays won't be as good. I think that always matters with here. How much protection you have, how many guys are around you, etc. I think there's going to be more on him, but I think Diaz is probably going to be what we've seen, a good solid high 200, low 300 hitter as well. Going to give you a lot of RBIs and production. I have him 8. Josh Naylor. I think some people have been sleeping on him. So we talked about Christian Walker going from the Diamondbacks, and this is if they're replacing him with Josh Naylor. Here's what the Indians. Average, not high, his production is. Now, he was hitting next to Jose Ramirez, so we will see here. But this is a guy, not quite a Kyle Schwarber, but he's a guy that's definitely going to hit for average, hit for power, do a lot of those things as well. So I like Josh Naylor as a hitter, a power hitter. So this is what we call the old-fashioned Deadpool, Deadpool hitter. Defensively, I don't care. He's okay enough defensively. Not a stutter, not great, but definitely I get a lot of home runs and RBIs from Josh Naylor. All right, here's the 5. If you want one of these guys first, this is kind of the line for me. Matt Olson, I think in 2023 was as good as anything I've seen. Really struggled a little bit with the Braves. Braves had that across the board last year, not quite as good. I'm still pretty much a believer in Olson, though. I think they have some offense there still. I think I'm just going to chalk it up to a down year. Had some injuries, not just quite as good. I'm still putting him in the top 5. Top 5, even with the year I'm saying. I'm making it sound like he hit 10 home runs. He did. He had a lot. He had 20-plus home runs. Average was way down. I think Olson definitely, it wouldn't shock me if he had 30 home runs, 100 RBIs like he did in years. A lot of good years for the A's. Definitely Olson is there. Pete Alonso, TBA. Still don't know where Pete Alonso is. I thought the deal was done with the Blue Jays. So I don't know what's going on with the Blue Jays. They've kind of had a couple, I think they're kind of getting used a lot. Wherever he lands, he's going to be fantastic. There's chance. I think there's a chance at this point he could wind up back in New York. I don't know if they've really filled that spot. Kind of like Josh Naylor even more. I kind of always hoped his average would be higher than it is, but that's really never happened for him. But again, a high home run RBI guy, good defensive player, though. That's the difference here. I really like his glove. Alonso better as well. Wherever he plays, I think I definitely put him in the top 5. You can pencil in 30 home runs and 100 RBIs for Alonso there as well. Vladdy Guerrero. I think he's on borrowed time in Toronto, but man, what a hitter he is. I think he really, the Vladdy we know kind of returned in 2024. Definitely is going to be motivated. I think he's got a contract coming up. He should become one of the highest paid players in all of baseball. I have him at 3 there. I think tremendous power hitter. Great with the average as well. Not really protected, not a lot around him. I think the team has gotten worse. And how motivated is he? That's just kind of the question with him, like with Vladdy in general. He doesn't always seem like he wants to play and he's motivated. I think I kind of question his heart a little bit at times. He's got a heart of a good player, but there's a difference between a good player and a greatness, somebody who's achieving greatness. I kind of question that a little bit with Vladdy at times. But look, number 3 is outstanding. Good player on the Blue Jays. I keep thinking Freddie Freeman is going to drop off at some point. It's going to be 30. I think he's 35. He's going to be 36. Freddie Freeman is fantastic. Perfect. Great defensive player. Doesn't miss any games. I don't spend time on a deal. He missed a few games last year, I think, with a family issue. But he hits 300. He hits for power. He hits for average. There's absolutely nothing wrong with Freddie Freeman. Look, when the Braves didn't take him anymore, I think age was a factor for a younger Matt Olson. Not sure this guy's fallen off. So the Dodgers, you got Freddie Freeman. I think Freeman is probably one of the best hitters, I think, in all of baseball as well. He's definitely an MVP. I think absolutely. Number 2, if you put Freeman number 1, I don't have a problem with that. The first 5, I don't have a problem. If anybody was to put them 1, I have Bryce Harper 1. Bryce Harper is one of my, maybe I'm biased because he's one of my favorite players, but Bryce Harper has the heart of a lion, runs through a wall. Smart thing, put him at first because he plays so hard. We talked about with Vladdy and the heart. Does he want to play? This guy always wants to play. Tremendous enthusiasm, always hits around 300, 30-plus home runs, RBIs. You keep him healthy, he's going to produce for as productive for as long a period of a player ever since he was 19 years old and he came in the majors. He's still outstanding. Bryce Harper, number 1 for the Phillies. There you go. All right. So definitely check that out here. Top 10 list. We're going to go ahead, put that on our social media so you can go ahead and check that out. All right. Orioles segment as well. Talk a little bit of Orioles here. We're going to talk about spring training battles here. A couple things have happened with the Orioles in terms of signing. So definitely the Orioles this week went out and signed Andrew Kittredge as well this week. So this is a good sign, Andrew Kittredge. So they went ahead and signed him to a one-year deal, $10 million a year. So they went ahead and signed him to a contract as well. Orioles apparently did have an offer on the table for Jeff Hoffman, a 3-year, $40 million deal. Apparently something went wrong with the physical. Now, that's something that the Angelos family always did. It seemed like something would always go wrong with the physical. So we will see about that, how well Hoffman does going forward. But this was good stuff, good signing. At least they were trying to do something, trying to sign a guy with that. Rosany Contreras also signed this week with the Orioles. I like him. I think like not as consistent yet at the major league level, but excellent stuff he has. And we're going to talk about him a little bit here in the battles here as well. But excellent stuff by him. So 2 really good bullpen signings. So I don't think you're going to see guys up and down like they did last year unless they're injured. So it'll be interesting to see how the Orioles do with that. Who is fighting it out in spring? So our spring training battles, baseball's a little different. Kind of last year, we don't know how much spring training matters to the teams, the managers, and all that other stuff. We will see how much spring training matters to a lot of these guys. I will say spring training is the time where we get to see and guys get to see, and we're going to start beginning with guys. They get a chance to go ahead and play. I think as fans, I think it's good to see as well. But good team, not a lot of stuff as far as, you know, there's not 4 or 5 positions open, but there's a few things still up in the air here. We'll see. And who's going to be battling it out in spring? Who's going to be leadoff as well? Gunnar Henderson, Jackson Holliday, Cedric Mullins. Cedric, I almost didn't even put him in. I don't know how much he's going to hit leadoff anymore. I would like to see it. I would like to see Gunnar Henderson drop down. I do think the long-term vision is to have Gunnar hitting second or third, but it hasn't happened quite yet. But I think they're hitting him first. I think he's good at hitting him first. I think in the long term, Jackson Holliday, I think, is going to be the leadoff hitter for the future. I think definitely that's what they're looking at him as. Can he hold on to it? I don't know if they're going to do that right out the blocks with him, but I do think a good spring could actually influence that. Well, I do think this spring will matter. He was good last spring, and they sent him down. I think they were all going to do that. So I think they're actually looking at it more with a closer eye with him this spring. Interesting to see how that goes. This is not more of a battle, maybe per se, but I think it's interesting to see what happens. Mountcastle and Kobe Mayo. I think you have to put Kobe Mayo at first. I think trying to put him at third, I don't think that's a good idea. Jackson Holliday really struggled early in the year, but at least he was good defensively. Kobe Mayo struggled, and he wasn't he wasn't even giving you the defense. I think you could put him at first. 6 foot tall, like 6'5", 6'6". I think Kobe Mayo is tremendous power. I think he's going to have to do some adjusting at the major league level. I think this might be interesting in the sense of, is Mounty going to be on the team? That's kind of the thing. Can Mayo convince him to actually move Mountcastle? Because I don't think Mountcastle will be there in like a reserve role, but I think it'll be interesting to see if they see enough from Kobe Mayo. Can they convince to move on to Mountcastle, move him to another team, or try to trade him at some point? So interesting. Fourth outfield, Henry Kerstad. and Daz Cameron. This is what you want. Do you want the bat or do you want the glove? That'd be interesting. Can they both be outfielders? Possibly. They may keep 13 players and they may keep 2 outfielders, fourth and a fifth. I don't know. Interesting. Do you want the guy that's going to have glove, who's going to play any position? You could play center, left, right, and that's Daz Cameron as to major league experience, or do you want a bat? Now, Colton Cowser last year was the 4th outfielder to start the year. I could absolutely see Brandon Hyde going ahead and using him as a 4th outfielder or call him a 4th starter to actually do that. Not nearly as good defensively, not really as good in left field. Interesting to see what happens with Daz Cameron there as well. Ryan O'Hearn. I'm sorry, Ryan O'Hearn and Heston Kjerstad, again, a designated hitter. O'Hearn is probably not going to play against righties. And if you ask Brandon Hyde, well, and then you can have him play, it's not going to play against, O'Hearn's not going to play against the lefties, and then Kjerstad to play against the righties. That's probably what they would say. I think it is a possible similar to the Mayo Mountcastle thing, where Kjerstad kind of takes this over at some point. He can kind of work his way from 4th outfielder to everyday DH, and then hit the outfield when they want to use Adley, etc. I have a chance that I think Kjerstad could take at bats as well. I think Hurst is going to be given every opportunity to do that as well. O'Hearn not quite as good last year, but he's very good situationally. Very good situationally. I could absolutely see Brandon Hyde having value around O'Hearn just off the bench. That's something that old school name Jim Dwyer. I could absolutely see that for Heston Kjerstad. For Ryan O'Hearn. Couple more. The number 1 pitcher. I think this is fascinating. I did this last year. I said Grayson and Bradish, and then right after that, they will all sign Corbin Burns, blew it out the water. That ain't gonna happen this year, right? It'll be one of these two. I'm thinking it's a possibility it could be Grayson. I think I'm everything I'm seeing is it's Zach Eflin. I think Zach Eflin is more experienced, more seasoned, more of a guy. I think Grayson, is still waiting a little bit on because of all the injuries he's had. I think they're kind of not anointing him to that because he is, because of all the injuries. I think the long term, I think they view him as the ace of the future of the Baltimore Orioles. I think as long as he can stay healthy, big step up last year for Grayson. I thought Grayson was outstanding. He was terrific when he did pitch. So good stuff. I thought Grayson did last year. Good job overall by Grayson as well. Who's going to be starting in the rotation at 3? Dean Kramer, Charlie Morton, and Sugano. I think it'll be Dean Kramer. I think at the 3 spot. I think Morton. I think like they kind of see him like the Ravens see a Patrick McCary. There's value for him in the back of the rotation more than it is as well. And Sugano, I don't All right. Real quick, the ninth inning, internet problems there. Real quick, I think in the ninth inning, hopefully I can get the graphic up here at the end. It is going to be in the let's see. Hopefully I can get it up. All right. So I guess fans will definitely go ahead and check us out on all of our social media platforms. Thank you very much for joining us here for the Ravery Sports Podcast this week. Definitely this week. I don't know if I got it on camera or not, but yeah, Kittredge. I think Dominguez is going to be in the eighth inning. I definitely think he's the better option of it. A Kittredge, I think they'll move him around more. And Yadier, I think he's going to use him in the seventh inning. He's going to have to fight for it with a better competition. Have a great rest of your day, guys.